Good morning, guys, and welcome into the stream. We had a nice, solid start to the NBA yesterday with two games, but today we have, I don't know, like 12 games going on. We have an absolute full slate of NBA games. This morning's stream, we are going to be focused on looking at mainline markets for the NFL, college football, NBA, also looking at the World Series, Game 1. As the sports equinox, this is the time of year when we run into the sports equinox. So much to jump into, to get into. Very excited to be spending the next hour with you guys looking for some bets. And how about the start to the NBA season? How about that Rockets Thunder? Double overtime game. Pretty insane. Very insane game. And if we can start to get some more of those double overtime games, there's going to be a lot of overs that are going to cash, right? But welcome in. And we're starting off with DGF and their fantasy tool. And for the next hour, I'm going to be using various different tools and strategies, showing you some of my favorite ways that I love to sharp bet. And not just showing you, but also just kind of breaking down the why that we're going to use these tools and how we can make money with them. That's the most important part. So when we're over here at DGF's AI Slip Generator, this is a tool that focuses heavily on the DFS books. The better, the dabble, the PrizePicks, the flips, right? And it just searches and scans all the available sports books and all the available lines. And for better right now, this is what we have selected and showing us that, well, there's one slip out there that we want to put together, a 5-pick slip. Now, this has about a 1.4% percentage chance. So it's okay. It's not ideal. But we have something out there that if we wanted to cook this up, this would be the top play currently. Obviously, the sports betting odds are constantly changing, but at the moment, this would be the top slip if you have a better account. Maddie, what's going on, man? Let's get that NBA money, no doubt about that. Irish, good morning to you. Chi-Town, good morning to you. I appreciate you, Irish. Appreciate you getting up and, tuning in with me. But yeah, if you got, for those of you that don't know, I always appreciate, you guys tuning in, the regulars and the support, especially OGs and DGens, and talking about Maddie, Chi-Town, and Irish right now is some of the proud supporters. Yeah, it is 6 a.m. here in Arizona, so I do wake up for two streams now during the week, guys. We'll be streaming later today at 3 p.m. Eastern. Let's move on to another book. Let's look at Dabble. Nothing at the moment. Okay, what about Fliff? Nothing on Fliff? All right, PrizePicks it is. Streaming twice a week during the weeks. And there won't be a stream on Friday because I'm traveling to Mexico. And there won't be a stream on Saturday because I'll be coming back from Mexico. But there will be a stream on Sunday. So we'll be streaming later today, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And then also tomorrow morning as well. So looking forward to that. So, okay, 6-pick entry over here on PrizePicks. Again, over here on this side where my mouse is, this is a 33.5% EV edge. There's a correlation score here of about 17.5, which just means that we have Bradley Beal, Lauri Markkanen, and Bryce Sensabaugh all in the same game. So there is some type of correlation slightly baked into this. Again, guys, when we're playing these various different slips on PrizePicks, they're all parlay-based books, whether it's Underdog, PrizePicks, Better, Dabble. So 2-pick entries, you're going to see the least amount of variance. 6, 7, 8-pick entries, you're going to see a lot of variance. So even though the slip has an edge, you might see some very turbulent times when it comes to playing these, even if you have an insane edge. That's why I've kind of switched up my philosophy, and I'm sticking to more 3-pick entries, right? Now, something else that you want to pay attention to is while this is day 2 of the NBA season, but day 1 for most teams, the points combo, right? If you start to see that with this tool, we're betting certain categories or certain markets more times than not, then naturally you want to make sure that, you're just a little bit just paying attention to this. Is it working well for you? Is it not working well for you? So this is going to be a power play with all 3 picks as a 6x payout. All right. And let me share this link off to the side with you guys. We're going to go ahead and put this in here now. All right, there we go. And let me share this with you guys. All right, so there's that 3-pick entry over there on PrizePicks. And we hit the KD Taco yesterday. Shared a 3-pick slip yesterday. We hit the KD Taco. We hit the inspired play. So we just need Evan Mobley under 31.5 PRA, which we could obviously, hopefully we can cash that one. And waiting on some others. All right, so there's a 3-pick. So let me just regenerate this once more and see what else we have. This is that 5-pick entry here, guys. Obviously, this is the 3-pick that we just put together, plus all points combos, right? So these are all unders other than Bradley Beal and Lauri Markkanen. So, and I don't know if we're going to be receiving any other massive discounts. I already used our Steph free square last night. Used the Kevin Durant taco, which was great. But I don't know if we have anything else really that they're giving away over on PrizePicks in terms of a free square. Just kind of double checking. And then we talked about this 3-pick. And what about this play here? This is a 5-pick entry. Again, this has about a 15.5% edge. So I'll just pause here for any of you guys that are watching right now. If you want, I know it's easier when I share links and share slips. If you want, check these out. But I'm kind of staying away from 5-pick entries and 6-pick entries on PrizePicks. On Better, we're playing 5-pick slips because that's literally the best type of strategy you could run in terms of the most optimal odds is 5 picks. There's a big gap on Better when you're talking between 3-pick entries and 5-pick entries. All right, what else do we have? What else do we have here? Let's take a look at Underdog. All right, 6-pick slip on Underdog. Okay. And again, Underdog's running some different 30% boost, guys. Something that's, one thing that I would like to do for just a quick second, this might take a little bit longer to do, but over here on OddsJam, we have some various different calculators. So let me just pull this off to the side here. All right, so if you come over to a parlay calculator, right, when we talk about Underdog and 2-pick entries or 5-pick entries, 3-pick entries, because Underdog is running a lot of these 30% boosts for some people. And it's kind of important to note what makes things really, really EV. So there's a couple different calculators that you can use. Here's a 3-pick entry. I can't play college football props, guys, but if you wanted to rock this 3-pick slip, these are some of the same plays from the 6-pick entry, but you're just going to have an easier time on a 3-pick slip. So let me pull this off to the side here. Okay. Okay, so when we're looking at, and the best example here is I have a 30% boost for FIFA. So when we're going through, guys, everything that we're doing when it comes to making these slips, this is all just math-based. There's no opinions here when I'm telling you guys that like we're getting certain odds with certain sports books because it's all just a numbers, math-based game, right? This entire stream is dedicated to data-driven sports betting. What else do we have here? Okay, and then this is another 6-pick entry if you wanted this out here. So let's take a look at this. And understanding this math is really important because it's really the foundation of profitable sports betting. So when we're over here on Underdog, guys, and I throw this over here, as you can see that I have a 2-pick entry, and all the way at the very, very top, I have this FIFA boost. So you can see that without the boost applied, okay, this is a 3x payout, okay? So there's a couple different things that we could do over here. This is just breaking down the math, right? So I tell you guys that this is minus 137 odds because if I put together a $100 wager, I'm going to be receiving a payout of $300, okay? If I type in $100, you can see that my payout is $300. If I come over to an odds converter calculator and on the decimal, I just type 3, that also equals plus 200 odds or 33.33% chance or plus 200 odds, right, is a $300 payout. So that's how you can use an odds converter calculator and say, yo, 3x payout is really plus 200 odds. But with this boost, all of a sudden, if I put this on here, next thing you know, this is now a 3.6x payout. So if I go 3.6, now we're getting plus 260. But we're really getting paid out for a parlay of plus 200 odds. So if I go to a Kelly calculator and I say, hey, Kelly, here's what I got going on over here at Underdog. I'm receiving odds of plus 260, but I have a 33.33% chance. They're going to tell me this is a 20% EV edge play, right? Now, I could also add an extra play on the slip if I wanted to. So if I go all the way to the bottom and I add just another play here, you're going to see I'm receiving a 7.5x payout. Again, I can break this all down where I know that on 3-pick entries with no insurance, I'm receiving minus 122 odds, right? Underdog says I should be getting a 6x payout. Okay, well, a 6x payout is just roughly plus 500 odds. I have a 16.67% chance, so I change this to a 16.67% chance, but I'm getting paid out at 7.5, right? I'm getting paid out 7.5x now. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means I'm really getting plus 650 odds. So in a Kelly Criterion calculator, they're going to tell me, yo, this is 25% EV edge, right? So you can figure out your edge based on the payout from the sports book. Using these calculators at OddsJam, which are free, you can figure out exactly how EV of a play this is. Now, naturally, it's a little easier. You're going to win a higher rate playing 2-pick entries compared to 3-pick entries. But when you receive these boosts over here from the sports books, right here, I have a 50% NBA profit boost. Well, I'm going to have a higher win rate playing 3 picks compared to 8 picks. But even on 3-pick entry, guys, I still have 16.5% chance of winning. So different things that I want to make sure that I stress to you guys while we talk about these types of things is because this is all just based on math. That's all it is. But even with a 3-pick entry, I have an 83% chance of losing this parlay. So there's still a very high rate I lose this parlay, even though it's very EV, it's very boosted. Master, appreciate that, Master. Thank you, man. Thank you. Something I definitely need to take a look at. Yeah, it was definitely hard yesterday on Irish. Definitely hard. So let's go over to OddsJam's Optimizer. So I know that I have this 50% boost over here with the NBA. So the first thing that I want to do is say, yo, what's going on with the NBA? And, I want to put together a 3-pick slip. So naturally, these plays, OddsJam's going to tell us, yeah, there isn't really anything that's EV out there. But this is, again, just OddsJam's projection. What I like to do is look at like FanDuel and I look at Pinnacle and I say, okay, well, maybe that's not the case. So for like Ryan Dunn under on 3s, the difference between a 3-pick entry on Underdog and FanDuel's price is 10 cents. Normally with player props, guys, I like a 20-cent gap. So I'd like to see either, FanDuel at minus 142. That would be something I'd like to see. It's slightly better at Pinnacle. It's 15 cents off. But Ryan Dunn could be in consideration because obviously I'm getting a 50% profit boost. This could be very EV, right? So I could say, all right, we could take a look at that. Now, obviously, Pinnacle doesn't have odds for any of these other player props because they don't have odds for points and rebounds. And for Jarrett Allen or D'Angelo Russell, they might not just have the PRA lines set up just quite yet. So when I come over here to look at Embiid on his PRA against the Celtics tonight, this is 2 cents off to Pinnacle, which I don't like. And while this is maybe slightly better to FanDuel, again, not a play that I'm really interested in. Now, I have this profit boost. It's available for the next 12 and a half hours. So I'm not really going to force this. I'm just going to kind of let the day go on and just keep an eye out for these types of plays to see if we have something out there, right? So just to kind of provide that for you guys so you know, let's take a look at Fliff to see if we have any main markets. Anything at all. Again, with this optimizer at OddsJam, guys, with the various different tools at OddsJam, use code Billy35. You're going to receive a 1-week free trial and then 35% off your first month after the 1-week trial ends. You could also use Billy C, all the same, Billy C or Billy35. You get 35% off. So, you know, we're here. Other than college basketball starting up in November, this is the time, like this day today is the day that I've been waiting for in June, in July, in August, and even in May. I'm just like, dude, can I get back to the NBA regular season? Like, take me back. And we're finally here. So much going on. So much going on, and we're going to jump into all of it. So the stream might run a little bit beyond an hour, which is all right. It's what it's all about. So obviously this morning, we're really more so focused on mainline bets, right? I want to make sure that I'm aware and cognizant for those that maybe this is your only time to bet in the morning. Then we're going to obviously try to look for some main plays. I'm not interested in betting Cleveland Browns at like minus 2,700 odds. So if I don't want that, guys, I can just go minus 200 here. And then that just changes everything, right? You can play around with the odds range. You can play with the pre-match. You can play with the live betting. You can work with stats. You can work with leagues, players. It's all available here at OddsJam, whatever you want to do. Also, the little search bar right here, you could just search by certain teams if you wanted to look for your specific team. Western Michigan plus 2.5. This is 13 cents off to Pinnacle. Looks fairly good over here on Fliff. Mainline markets, guys, it's a little different when you're looking at player props to mainline markets, right? So to have a 13-cent gap here on a point spread, while I don't like this number, plus 2.5, I prefer plus 3 or plus 3.5. Again, this looks to be pretty good. If we're hopping over to DraftKings Pick 6, starting with 3 pick entries. Let me see if we're getting anything. I cashed the Luka free square slip last night on DraftKings. But I don't know what the dealio is with today. See if they're offering any extended extra boosts. Let's see, pick 6. What do we got? So we got some discounts. We got a Wemby discount, and we have a Jalen Brunson discount. So both of these are reduced a little bit more. So we definitely want to take advantage of that. There's kind of the stat slice. We also have a 30% winnings boost on any 4-pick entries. Or 30% boost on any live entry. So we got some different things. Obviously, the stat slice, guys, is going to be the easiest one. And so if I'm taking a look at these ones, you know, they're throwing on my slip right now. Looks like we got Spida over 24.5 points. What else do we got here? Cam Thomas. Obviously, guys, you could see where do my eyes immediately go to? They go to where the play is, where like Pinnacle and FanDuel have a line. So we're looking at over 31.5 PRA, 32.5, 32.5. While we're paying a little extra juice, we're receiving this line 1 lower. So I'm okay with this PRA. So let's go ahead and throw this in. Again, using the search feature is pretty dope. Wow, we have a discount on Cam. We have so many discounts today for pick 6, guys. Wow, there's so many. All right, so I'm taking the Spida discount. I'm pairing this with Cam Thomas. And then what else do I have here that I could get excited about? George, not really. Just trying to see if we only have 1 or 2 plays that Pinnacle has odds on. So I'm just going to look at the Pinnacle plays quickly. Again, while this is under 23.5 and under 24.5, this is just, it's a little, it's not enough for me in terms of what we have. Russ. No, it's the same as FanDuel. I don't like that. Terrence Mann, not really. Also, guys, excuse me, this is where we could use the sharp money tool. Okay, if I just want to look for pick 6, I could kind of see, like I could say, yo, show me all the sports books where I got pick 6. And it's going to tell me, yo, Chris Middleton, right? We can use the sharp money tool as well. Now, $658 on Chris Middleton isn't quite enough because we're getting this at like minus 122 odds, right? But you could use the sharp money tool if you wanted to. No doubt about that. Or we could say, you know, we could select all the sports books, but I can just keep pick 6 in mind and say, okay, Well, if I can find something that's maybe like a minus 122 or something like this, maybe we could find something in general. But this is how you can use this for pick six as well. So it's definitely, you have some different options with the different tools at OddsJam for sure. Lonzo Ball, I can kind of trust in this. We're looking at his under points and rebounds. FanDuel's at minus 146. This looks really good. So we're going to fade Lonzo Ball on his points and rebounds. Make sure, guys, you do know there are two Ball brothers that play in the NBA, LaMelo and Lonzo. This is the older brother that, well, he's not quite as good. Let's just put it that way. All right, so this is where I'm going to take the Spida play. I'll share this with you guys. I can't remember what the max wager size is for this. Can I do $30 or is it 20 bucks? Let's do this. It's 10 bucks. Okay, that's fine. But again, with all these $10, guys, this is a pretty simple one. Let me copy this and throw this in here. And I could spend a lot of the stream right now going over pick six, which I can imagine that Alex is definitely going to be going over this as well. But again, these are all great payouts. So if I'm looking at, let's just refresh this page really quick. And let's look specifically for the NBA. And what else do we have? Jalen Johnson, yeah, not really there. Not really feeling. They're saying this is EV, but like, you know, I mean, I really lean heavily on FanDuel and their projections. So like Vooch, this is 31.5 at minus 118. This is 32.5 at minus 122. I like that a little bit more. So I'm just going to refresh my pick six page. We'll go with Vooch. And all right, we're going to take the less there. Then I'm going to grab, obviously, we're just got to find one more play, guys, and I can grab something else. Clay over on his points. This is really good to FanDuel, and everyone else has this at 12.5. So I'll take the Clay. Let's do him over, and then I'll just grab one of the free squares, right? There's a bunch of free squares out there today, so I can kind of pick my stat slice. Let's take Brunson. Should have did that first. We'll take Jalen over on his points, and I got to come back here and do this again. So we got to take Clay over and Vooch under. All right, this is going to be the next one. I can only do one? Really? That's it? All right, I guess I lied. I can't do more than one? Dude, that's so dumb. All right, well, I took Spida. It's fine. I thought I could do more than one. I really did. It's all right. We'll do the 30. We'll do the, it is what it is. Okay, I thought I could play all these dudes, man. But I only got to pick one. That's so dumb. All right, Mikal Bridges under on his PRA. We'll take Mikal on that one. What, under 24.5? All right, this is going to be a slip here too, guys, that I'll share with you. I could make this a 4-pick to get the boost, which I'll take. So we're on Bridges, we're on Thomas, we're on Vooch. What's another one I could grab here? And then we'll move on to something else. 38, is Zion over? Let's take Zion's over. And this will be the boost here. We're taking what, the over 37.5? All right, and now I got this boost. Perfect, 30%. Good. It's only a $20 max wager. But that's fine. All right, here's the slip, guys. We'll move on to something else because I know these take a minute. Oh, Cam Thomas on discount? Yeah, they got Irish. Yeah, basically you can only play one, so I end up going with Spida. But you could play Brunson, Wemby, Cam Thomas. There's a bunch of them. So we're in on that play. Okay, let's head over to the arbitrage tool. So typically, guys, for arbitrage betting, again, it depends on, your schedule and what you have availability on. But, if you have some time and you can wait until, we get to an hour and a half, 2 hours max before tip, that's ideal when you want to bet player props, typically an hour or less before the game start. I don't like to bet player props 15 minutes before the game starts. But really, anywhere between 15 minutes before the game starts up to 2 hours. That's my ideal window for player prop betting and arbitrage, right? Where we can find these different day trade these sports books. So all I have set up for my filters, for those who know, I'm actually going to reset it up again. So I don't have anything for the minimum. The max is 10% for pre-match. Anything pre-match that's higher than 10%, I don't want to go after because it's most likely a mistake made by the sports books. Now, again, if you're live arbitrage betting, I would set this for at least 3%, if not higher, right? But we're looking for DVIG settings. You can use OddsJam's recommended book weights. You can use Pinnacle. It's just whatever you prefer. And then you could set this up for your league, right? Markets, I'm looking at main markets, player props, date ranges for today. And again, guys, if you have a smaller bankroll, if it's under $1,000 in your bankroll, I would not, at this time of the week, I would not really look to place too many bets for the NFL and college football. I would focus a lot of my efforts on arbitrage betting with NBA because you're going to be able to place your bets down today on the NBA, make some money, and then get all that money back for tomorrow and then run it through again, right? So we're going to be looking to place some bets on money line spreads and totals for main markets, making sure, guys, that you don't focus on betting on, the Cowboys game or the Falcons game this weekend right now, because that's going to tie up your money. And you damn sure don't want to be placing arbitrage bets on the NFL that are going to tie your funds up until Sunday or Monday, right? We want to make sure that we're placing arbitrage bets today for the NBA player props. This is why NBA is king, because there's so many different opportunities out here where you can day trade these books. And it's going to be a lot better tonight when we have just more activity with games going on. But as you can still see right here, we have some solid opportunities, right? A lot of plays that are over 2%. Now, again, it just depends on the sports books that you have accounts with, but you can day trade these books, right? We have a props builder play here for Champions League, soccer. We have a lot going on. We have some soccer going on. There's different things that are happening. So when you're looking at these various different plays, you want to make sure that you're getting your money down today, getting those funds back, and then putting it back into the market tomorrow. That's how you can grow that smaller bankroll into a 5K to a 10K bankroll, is because you're putting your money to work and getting those returns each day. So again, when you're looking at these, it's a pretty simple strategy. Just select the sports books that you have accounts with. Maybe it's FanDuel, maybe it's DraftKings, maybe it's all the Arizona books. Maybe you don't have a Bracco, right? There's certain books that I don't want to see right now. I don't want to see certain books because either I'm limited or I just don't have an account with them at the moment, right? Maybe no Kalshi, and just say, what do I got here? Okay. Maybe don't want to take this risky bet because I know that, DraftKings might not honor this if this guy doesn't start today. We obviously have some soccer plays at the moment that look really good. We're going to have some NBA plays later. We have some NBA plays now. But remember, guys, with arbitrage, we got to place some unders. So how many casual sports bettors are betting unders on points, rebounds, and assists or player points right now? Like, it doesn't happen very often. So that's why I like to wait until a little bit later in the day. If we come over here and take a look at the sharp money tool, right? It all just depends on your schedule and what you can work for you. Let's take a look at the sharp money tool. This is where I'm very excited about this tool for the NBA season. Minus 200 minimum, plus 150 max. We could change this to plus 200, right? It's whatever you prefer. Leagues, you can pick whatever league that you want. Again, the date ranges today. I like to go after main markets, player props. We can focus on one or the other. So if we're looking for mainline markets right now, I could say, what do we got? And I could say, okay, Knicks on the money line on every game. I don't really like this play, not because it might be EV, but from a sharp money perspective, I don't like this play because, I'm sorry, I thought it was 20,000. It's only 2,000 right now. Okay, that's actually a play I'm interested in. Apologies, guys. Plus 110 odds. While the Knicks on the money line, this is 7 cents off to Pinnacle. That's okay. It's not great to Bookmaker. It's not great to Circa or Bet Online. But compared to where some of the sharp books are taking money, Pinnacle has a $2,000 limit. So there's some guys out there that have 3K or almost 4K that they want the Knicks at plus 110 or plus 109. So we can get this at plus 110 over at every game. Doesn't look like there's really any other sports book that's offering the Knicks at up to plus 110. So this would be that, or you could bet into the sharp books, but I would say really every game, a global sports book, this is where you can get this play. This play on the Devils on the money line, there's $5,000 out there. There's $6,600 right now. It's okay, not bad, right? There's more money out there that you could bet on the Devils money line than what Pinnacle's taking, okay? And in this case with the Knicks, it's like 3x more, which is a big deal. Now, as the day goes along, Pinnacle's limits will start to become higher and higher. But this play with the 76ers, I don't care about this. It's below Pinnacle's limit. And same with this play down here, right? But this Devils play, okay, this would be a circa play. This would be us betting into Pinnacle, right? Or betting into Bet 105. Talked about Bet 105 before. And this play's okay. It's not a 2x multiplier. It's like, maybe a 1.25x multiplier. It's okay. But we could bet into Pinnacle here because someone has $6,700 down on the Devils. And that's higher than Pinnacle's limit right now. So that's why they're using the exchange. They want the Devils at minus 133. Well, that's exactly what we could get into Pinnacle. So sharp money has a slightly different approach where we're looking to sometimes you can bet into the sharp books because we believe that someone out there, two people really like the Devils and they want them at either minus 131 or minus 133. So again, this is going to come down to your belief. Some people are going to disagree with this strategy, and that's fine. But if you believe that there's professional sports bettors out there that are hanging massive liquidity on the other end, then this is where you could go over to the other rec books and bet them. So for Giannis, someone dropped $1,300 and they won his over 7.5 assists at plus 125 odds. And then a couple other people just kind of penny hopped, as we like to say. One person wants to get it at plus 122, plus 120, plus 125. So we can bet this over at Hard Rock at plus 125. And this looks to be over at Hard Rock just in general, just an EV play. And that's normally the case, guys, with Hard Rock. These are just EV plays, right? Hard Rock's just 11 cents off to FanDuel. It's way off to the rest of the market. Fanatics and FanDuel are kind of in their own little world here. You could just bet over there and have a really good time. Same with Con, same with probably Derek Lively. So, Maddie, it's a good question. Oh, nice, Irish. Appreciate you sharing that. So, Maddie, the thing here is obviously when we're looking at Con on his slip, you can see they're saying there's $1,500, but that's all these added up, right? That's 920 plus 123. All this is added up together to give us this number, right? So on Giannis, someone has 1,300, someone has another. Basically, these two are 2,000, 2,100 combined. That's how we're getting to 2,300. So it's all of this added together. So again, if you want to say, you know what, I don't know if I feel strongly about Giannis because I would like to see $2,300 from one person, totally fine. When we were looking at those main market plays just a second ago, one thing that I can say is that, there's two guys here on the Devils that really want this. On this Devils play, there was $7,300 from this dude at Novig. There's $8,100 here at ProfitX. Now, these two numbers added together is obviously $15,400, but that's not what's showing on the Sharp Money tool. It's just showing $7,300. So I have more confidence in this Devils play because this is a much higher amount, right? Same with the Knicks play, these are $6,800, but this is $3,000 plus $3,800, right? So it's a good question to bring up. But it's basically with player props, it's always going to be the total sum of this added up together. But in my opinion, this is a lot of money on Giannis, right? I can't bet $1,300 on Hard Rock. And if I can only do it probably 5 times. And then they're going to be like, yo, dude, you can't do this anymore. So good question. But obviously, guys, as we get later into the day or you start to see injury news break, this is where I would just kind of pay attention. And you guys can save your filters. If you want to see liquidity for player props, right? If you want to see liquidity at like, I don't know, $4,000 minimum, you can do that, right? Save your filter and then get pinged. High liquid, NBA props, right? You could set your filter up to save this, okay? And have it set up so that you can grab this. If you want to know that if the least pinnacles limits, 250, you can do all this with the filters to set up high liquidity so that hey, the bet that I receive, it's worth my time. This is something that you can go ahead and set this up with. So nothing here maybe at the moment that I'm interested in, but again, you can use this for NHL money lines. You can use this for different markets, different things. This is where you could say, dude, let's take a look at some hockey money line plays right now. And we know that we have this Devils play, and this is higher than Pinnacle's liquidity limit. So maybe this is something where we want to bet the Devils over at bet 105, right? So some different things. We'll come back to this here in a little bit, but that's how it works. And that's how we like to go after it. So what else do we have here? Let's take a look at the EV tool. And at the moment here, guys, on the EV tool, I'm looking at NBA mainline markets. So I'm using like a plus minus 200. Looking at Pinnacle, we're looking at worst case. I'm looking at NBA, and I'm looking at just mainline markets for today. Date ranges for today. And let's refresh this. And what do we have? Earl, what's going on, brother? How are you, man? Y'all, tonight. No doubt about that. Rick, what's going on, man? Good morning to you guys. So if you guys are looking for those of you that are filtering in, first and foremost, welcome in. If you're looking for DFS types of activity, we got through a lot of that earlier in the stream. DraftKings Pick 6, PrizePicks, Underdog. We looked at a lot of different things. Took advantage of some DraftKings Pick 6 promos that they're running. So here's what we have, guys. We're looking at mainline markets. Now, if we find out that, Cade Cunningham or Zion is ruled out for today, I'm not expecting it, but just giving a random example, then obviously these bets that we place right now they're going to go one way or the other, okay? Don't have to mention this. I'll mention this, but if you guys have Hard Rock, in general, Hard Rock's like really easy to beat. But if you don't have Hard Rock, you can still bet this over at Bet Rivers or Ballybet. You can see Ballybet offers slightly better pricing, but you could also bet this over at Bet Rivers. And this is a 3% edge, which is really, really good. So if you have a Bet Rivers, that's minus 124 odds, this is about a 1.74% edge. Now understand a couple of things here, guys. When we're looking at these various markets, this is a different ball game than player props. In my opinion, the edge on these main markets, you're going to be like, who cares, Billy? This is 3%. This is a really big deal. Pinnacle's taking $3,000. We're going to look at some player prop bets that you're going to be salivating over. You're going to be like, holy smokes, this is like 9% EV. Yeah, but Pinnacle's taking $250 on those plays. So like, big whoop. Here, they're seeing they're taking $3K. On the spreads, they're taking a little bit more. They're taking $5K. And if we can find a money line play, which, by the way, anyone tail the Warriors money line play last night? That was a cash. We found it right here from this play, from this page. Now, we might not be able to find any money line plays. Here, Sixers money line, right? Pinnacle's only taking $3K at the moment. This is a play over on Caesars that maybe we want to go after. So these are some various different plays. And again, if you guys are saying, Billy, this is great, dude. I'm glad you're showing Hard Rock, but like, I don't have it, dude. Then guess what? If you have access to No Vig or ProfitX or any of these exchanges like I do with 4CX, then go create this play. Go create an odds range. Go create a wager. Any of these plays that you see that I'm showing that you're like either you don't have Hard Rock or you got limited on Ballybet, but you have ProfitX or No Vig, go create this play right now and set this up for someone to go grab. Like you have the full customization and flexibility. So if you have access to exchanges, then all of these plays on the board are available for you to bet. If you live in a state that you only have the exchanges, all of these plays are available for you to create. And yes, maybe not all of them are going to get your orders filled, but you might be able to get half of them filled. This is something that, I've talked about before from time to time. I definitely want to stress, like, if you are severely limited by a lot of sports books, but you have a No Vig or you have a ProfitX or a Sport Trade, or for me in Arizona, I have a 4CX. These are plays that you can create, right? You can create your own odds with all of these plays. Sports Zeno is a joke of a sports book. It's really easy to beat. So, if you can offer a play at minus 105, if you want to bet the minus 105 on the over, you're going to be offering obviously plus 105 on the under, which at the moment isn't going to be the top number on the bottom here because that's ESPN bet. But you could see that you could take this play up to minus 119 and it's going to be EV. So can you go ahead and grab this at minus 116? Well, you can, but it's not very EV, right? But maybe you could go out there and set this at a minus 108. Getting a minus 108 on the over is going to make you happy because you're getting almost a 4% EV edge play. And maybe your order gets filled, right? Sixers at plus 4.5. If we type in the Sixers here, we're going to see that there's a lot of different Sixers spreads, or in this case, maybe money line plays. So if I'm looking at all these plays, I'd rather take the plus 5.5. That's the most amount of points that we're going to receive out of all these plays on FanDuel, right? But if we come into this play again, Pinnacle's taking $5,000 over here. What do we got? Pinnacle's starting to move down a little bit within the last hour, right? This is where I love this tool with OddsJam, but we can see that FanDuel's moving up a lot. And so if we see FanDuel moving in a direction and Pinnacle's moving slightly against them, this would probably be a play, guys, that maybe I don't want to mess around with, right? Maybe I don't want to touch the Sixers on the spread because I don't like that FanDuel's doing this and Pinnacle's doing this, right? Maybe I just stay away from this play. But maybe I'll look at the money line play and I'll say, Caesars at plus 140, this is pretty good. It's 10 cents off to Penny. It's 16 cents off to Bookmaker. It's only 5 cents off to Circa and Bet Online. But okay, all right, let's take a look here. Like, what do we have? And you can see that there's a lot of movement on the Sixers. Similar to FanDuel, these rec books are all moving in a certain direction. Pinnacle's kind of chilling. What's Bookmaker doing? If we have too many books here, guys, we can just remove Fanatics, right? You can add in a lot of different books. If you want to remove Ballybet, you can do that as well. And you can just kind of hover your mouse over this and say, oh, well, Bookmaker actually just moved down a little bit in their pricing while everyone else is moving up. So I would say that this price is just too good on Caesars. I wouldn't mind taking a little sprinkle. Now, in my opinion, while this is only a 1.14% edge, I would like to wager a little bit more on this play because it's a money line play. So again, we can look at some various different options. Looking at the line movement, guys, is very key. So there's no longer really a scenario where I set my odds range and just say, you know what, this is all I'm going to do. I'm just going to bet all these plays on this board. No. Every single play, guys, I really look through a fine-tooth comb. Now, this is the advantage that I have at using a laptop, right? I don't have that advantage maybe on my cell phone. But if I'm looking at this Spurs over, I could say, is there any movement from Pinnacle? And holy shit, there is. Look at this movement from Pinnacle. There's a lot. It's moving in one direction. In one direction in the last couple of minutes. This is an indicator that I want to go after, right? Hard Rock's just chilling. And all those little dots, if you guys can see those little dots on my screen, that's Hard Rock just updating its odds. So it's not like Hard Rock is stale. They're just chilling. They're on autopilot, right? Pinnacle's not. Pinnacle's taking more. And Pinnacle takes more money down on these plays than Hard Rock does, and they're moving. They went from a minus 117 to minus 138. So that's a really big movement, right? So I want to go over here and say, I want to bet this over on the Spurs-Mavs game, right? So this is a play that I definitely would want to hit up with Spurs and Mavs. Let me catch up to everybody in the chat here. If you just want the ARB tool and Sharp tool, then I would just talk just right here at the bottom here, man. I would just send a message and send that exact same message to the people here at OddsJam. And Randall and Nolan and someone on the team will definitely be able to help you out in terms of finding that kind of right fit for you. So that's what I would say, Hippie. There we go, Earl. Its own tool. There we go. Appreciate that, Steven. Appreciate that. Wade, what's going on, man? Yeah, exactly, Wade. There's always going to be lower liquidity on player prop bets, guys. So, we talked about this yesterday. This is something that I will repeat myself. We're going to look for some hockey plays right now for main markets. There is going to be plenty enough times this year, guys, where you're going to be betting, you're going to see the EV tool, and you're going to say, dude, Jalen Brunson over on assist is plus EV. And then, you check the tool an hour later, and you're like, dude, now Jalen Brunson's under on his assists or EV. That doesn't make sense. And the answer is that Jalen Brunson's over on his EV over on assist was EV, and then enough people bet that over, and because it's low liquidity, the books move their price down for the over, and now all of a sudden they increase their prices on the under. Now the under becomes EV, and we can have a scenario where you day trade these books back and forth with these player props that there can be EV on both sides. It can happen. Looks like the Wild right now would be the top play according to Pinnacle at plus 121 or plus 133. Oh, yeah, that's a low hold to Pinnacle, guys. What's the liquidity here? So there's $8,800. Yeah, so we kind of talked about this before. Also, if you look at Polymarket, I don't know if I want to bet this play using Pinnacle as my sharp because there's $60,000 on Polymarket. So somebody really wants the Devils at minus 133. Okay. So again, guys, making sure that you can look at Polymarket and Kalshi, a couple other books like No Vig and Profit X. It's hard for me to ignore that somebody offered $60,000 on the Wild at plus 133, and we can get this at minus 133, right? Just like someone has $8,800 on the Wild on No Vig. So there's $68,000, almost $70,000 between No Vig and Polymarket on the Wild at plus 133. Somebody really wants the minus 133 here. So if I see this, okay, if I see this play and I'm like, dude, this is $60,000, then I would probably want to bet minus 133 or minus 135, right? And this is the nice thing here, guys. We can bet this into some sharp books, right? If you believe this is really something we want to go after, we can do that, right? I have a lot of money tied up in BetMania because I'm working through a very long rollover with them. So I'm going to go ahead and place a wager over on BetMania because I'm trying to work through a rollover with them. I have a lot of money in their account, and which basically with the rollover, guys, the money's tied up. I can't get it out anytime soon. I'll take this at minus 135, right? You could bet this over at Bet 105. You could bet this at a rec book, guys. But, it's kind of hard for me to ignore this Polymarket play. It's really hard. So I'm going to go grab this other side, right? No offense to Pinnacle, 5K ain't going to get it done. 5K ain't jack squat compared to $60,000. So let me go ahead and grab this. Unfortunately, I can only bet a max of $200, but what do we got here? All right, I can bet 140. Yeah, 148. Okay. So we're going to take the Devils, and I'm going to throw this over here on BetMania because I'm in for basically $200. There we go. Taking the Devils at minus 135 because I saw someone at Polymarket put up 60K on them. So have some confidence over there. It's much higher. Same thing. So you guys can kind of look at that and say, Pete Polymarket, right? There's 29,000 on Kalshi. There's 36,000 on Kalshi. If that's enough for you to say, hey, bet the Flames, that's out there, right? If you see high liquidity like this, guys, on Polymarket and Kalshi, this means that somebody wants the Flames at plus 113. Somebody wants the Flames at plus 122, okay? Now, we might not be able to get the Flames at that price, okay, if you're looking at Polymarket and Kalshi, but we were able to get the Devils at minus 135, minus 133. Yeah, there's a lot. Well, it's not on the Wild, Lily. It's you can bet this on the Wild, right? So if you wanted to bet this right now, that's what's out there, right? So that's the way I interpret it, is that there's a lot of money out there that you can bet the Wild. that means that the person really wants this. And actually, I'm sorry. You know what? I apologize. You're right. I didn't even look at the underside of it. There's a ton of money. So I might have made a mistake there. I appreciate that, Lily. Thank you. Because I make mistakes all the time. So there's a ton of money here on the Wild. There's like $180,000, which is 3 times as much. So somebody really wants the Wild. Somebody really wants, though, somebody wants the Wild at plus 138, and somebody wants them at plus 143, right? So all I did was look at the Wild instead of looking down here at the Devils, so I appreciate that. So maybe don't bet the Devils. We'll see how that one goes. But yeah, there's a lot going on here with Paulie Market and Kalshi where the numbers are crazy. So I do apologize about that. But thank you for bringing that up. One thing that I haven't looked at yet, guys, that I definitely want to take a look at is the World Series. I want to peep the World Series here for just a second because we got some different markets, some different things coming up here, and I want to take a look at that. Doesn't look like Pinnacle's showing much for the World Series. Do I got something selected incorrectly? Yeah, we got all of them selected. We got baseball. Man, we can just do MLB. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's much popping off yet. Is there anything even with alt markets? There's 2 right now. Yeah, there's not a lot coming up yet with the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. I'm sure as we get a little bit closer to it, we'll see it. Let me take a look at some of the other sharp books. Circa, Bookmaker. Bookmaker's got 5 results. Yeah, a little bit lower edges right now as we're waiting for some other players to pop up. But there we go. Oh, no problem. Yeah, I mean, there definitely is. GM, yeah, custom weights. I know they're working. They're working on trying to get something like that. I don't know, when that's going to be released, but I do know they're trying to work on some custom weights, right? Custom filters, things of that nature. Ken, what's going on? I mean, more sharp ways to DVig. I mean, GM. One thing I would say is, I mean, adding, I understand different ways to DVig. I mean, I understand this is a separate tool on its own that you have to pay for. But hopefully you can see when I'm pulling these different plays up. This is another way that when you're watching the stream, you can start to look at other ways to kind of go after this tool. Let's look at the date range for today. Is looking at some different ways. So like Mavericks, right? Now with the sharp money tool, obviously we can look at Kalshi here, and there's $21,000 in liquidity out here over on the Spurs. Right, so somebody really wants the Mavericks. Now, obviously, with Paulie Market, somebody wants this at minus 127, right? But with no VIG, we can see that there's like $11,000 on Profit X right now to bet the Mavs. And somebody really wants them at minus 126, which we can get that over on FanDuel, right? So this would be a play, guys, that I would go over on FanDuel and bet right now, which I'm going to go ahead and throw something on here, is the Mavericks on the money line. This looks to be very good at the moment, right? Pinnacle's only taken $3,000. This is at least 3x the size. Someone on Profit X wants this. And this is, and obviously these are 2 different books, so it's not like someone penny jumped. There's $4,400 over here, which is a little bit higher, but someone put $11,600 on Profit X. They want the Mavs at minus 126. So this is a great price right now on FanDuel. I'm hoping that I can get this. Yeah, we can get this. So again, if this is a massive multiplier like this, I could say, give me $200 or maybe a little bit more if we wanted to, but we can do that, right? So it depends on with this sharp betting tool, I would say use a flat staking method. And then if it's a multiplier, if it's a 2x multiplier or higher, maybe you're putting 1.5 to 2 units down on that play. If it's less than that, right? Because there's not going to be really, you could calculate this EV-wise, guys. You could go through the Kelly criterion method. But honestly, if you see a play like this, I want you to be able to react quickly and say, okay, well, if we know that this is what, a 4x multiplier now, then this is a play that we want to definitely go after and say put 1.5 or 2 units on this play. If it's a 2x or multiplier or less on mainline markets, maybe we only want to bet a unit or only a half unit. But this seems to be a really good play. This is almost a low hold to all the sharp books. FanDuel was hanging this one. This one was just unreal that FanDuel was hanging out there. So we get the Mavs, and they just moved. It just moved to minus 130. But even at minus 130, guys, you could still go ahead. Like, you're going to see this play disappear with the odds range. Even at minus 130, I'm okay if you want to grab the Mavs. You can do that, right? Because it's still a few cents off to this guy that really wants him at minus 126, right? So I really still like that play. But we grabbed the Mavs, which that was a great bet. Oh, Lily, appreciate that you're able to get more out of the streams than Alex. It's just different strokes for different folks, man. I love Alex, and he brings the energy, man, and he does a lot. But I just try to break it down a little bit more. So I don't really like anything from Major League Baseball, guys. We're probably going to have to wait until tomorrow or maybe Thursday. I'm sorry, today's Wednesday. So we'll have to wait till tomorrow to see if we find anything more. Let's take a look at some football. Let's look at some NFL. Let's just do a custom date range from today till Monday. And then again, we're going to look at some mainline markets. And we're going to devig to Pinnacle, and we're going to use worst case and the percentage. Let's take a look at, I'm just going to leave this blank. I don't really care. And again, it's a minus 200 plus 200 odds range. We could take this more if we higher if we wanted to. And okay, what do we have? What do we got? So again, guys, there's different liquidity limits on total points or point spreads or money line plays, right? So all of these plays, though, in my opinion, have some edge. So if we look at the Saints plus 4.5, I know no one wants to bet the Saints. We look at the poly market here. There's only, make sure you're peeping these other books, guys, right? So one thing that I can definitely do, if you guys don't know this, what you can do is you can come over here to sports, and you can just go like to NBA. If you want to rearrange your books so that you see liquidity first, you see these little dots up here, guys? You can literally just come over here and say, all right, give me no vig, and let's move no vig over here, right? If you want to start to see liquidity first, and you want the Kalshi and the poly markets of the world, these are different strategies that you can utilize, right? I can grab the sport trades, I can grab the 4CXs, and I can say, all right, let's slide this over, and let me just move all these over, right? Let me look at Kalshi. Let's look at poly market, and I can kind of look at to see with ProfitX what's what, right? And now I got the liquidity in play. So now when I come back over to the EV tool, guys, and I refresh this page, if the books obviously have the liquidity, why isn't it showing it? It should show it. It should show it in the order that I want. Apologies. Maybe I wasted everyone's time with that exercise, but I thought that it was out there. So Pinnacle's taking 20K, right? And Polymarket doesn't have a strong opinion on the Saints or Bucks 4.5. And we could see that 4CX, they got 8,600 on one side, 7,600 on the other side. Obviously, the $8,600 is on this side. That means that they want the Bucks at plus 129, which they're probably not going to get. And this person wants is putting $7,600, and they want the Saints at minus 103. Now, that's a good price, right? If you can get minus 103, that's a great price. So some people, guys, create large liquidity just to try to hang and try to get a really good number to get their order filled. Sometimes those orders never get filled, right? But we can get this at minus 105, and this is 9 cents off. And again, with mainline markets, guys, I'm looking for at least an 8-cent gap or larger. So Pinnacle, they dropped off a cliff a while, yesterday, but they're back. If we look at FanDuel just changed their odds. They were at minus 108. They're now at minus 114. That's a pretty big jump. Don't have a read right now on Bookmaker or Bet Online, but I would definitely bet this over at DraftKings. This seems to be a great play that you can go after. This is 1 cent off of being a low hold to Pinnacle, and they're taking 20K. If we look at the Eagles and the Giants on the over, remember these two teams, the first time they hooked up on Thursday Night Football, they scored way more points than I thought they were going to. Pinnacle's only taking 3K here. I peep the liquidity, and I say, all right, well, there's like a lot of money here on Kalshi, but that means this dude wants this at plus 112 on the under, which, good luck, Chuck. You're not going to be able to get plus 112. So I don't maybe necessarily look at this play on Kalshi as like, yo, man, we got to bet the under 43. It's like, no, this dude really wants a good price, right? So he's not going to get it. Same thing here. This person wants plus 108 on the over, which he's not going to get. So while there's a lot of liquidity here on Kalshi, guys, these guys aren't going to get their order filled unless something drastic happens. So remember, think of this on that side, right? So when we're looking at this over here, that's where liquidity, that's where you have to read between the liquidity. While someone has a ton of money on the over and the under, it's very unrealistic that order is going to get filled because it's a crazy price that they're trying to get it at. Yeah, GM. So when I say 8 cents, what's the difference between Pinnacle and FanDuel right here? That's a difference of 16, right? They're both minus. So if I go from minus 105 to minus 121, what's the difference? That's 16. So I like that. Now, the difference between Circa and FanDuel here is 5. But for Pinnacle, I like to see at least 8 cents or higher. Now, I like to see Circa up here as well, but they're not. So some of you guys might be newer to the stream because we've talked about this before, but I want to make sure that, we have a lot of new viewers coming in now because they only like to bet NBA or maybe they just found me. So, for mainline markets, we're looking at total points. We're looking at money lines. We're looking at spreads. You're never going to find a 9% EV edge play, guys, out there when it comes to betting the mainline markets because there's a lot of popularity. Now, this here with Pinnacle, this is a little different. This is 26 cents. This looks really good, though 48 is a very important number in football. A lot of times, a lot of scores end between 46 to 48 in the NFL, so just be careful with the 48.5. But if we're coming down here on the Packers on the point spread, minus 104 profit X, there's only $16 of liquidity here, guys. Just go bet this. Don't worry about this. This is 11 cents off. Okay. If we look at a plus odds play, can I find a different plus odds play? So like the Saints. So the Saints, the difference between Pinnacle and no vig, this is a difference of 9. Okay. It's not 7, it's 9. Because you got to go from minus 101 to plus 100. That's a movement of 1. And then from plus 100 to plus 108 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9, right? So that's how we get to this number. So again, $100 on no vig, guys. I wouldn't sweat this. Just go bet that. So in general, nothing really crazy that I'm looking for at the moment. Let's go use Bookmaker. I can use Pinnacle or Bookmaker at this time of the week for college football. I'm really indifferent to either one. Again, guys, tonight, the evening stream tonight is going to be basically all player prop betting for NBA, NHL, anytime goal scorers. How about the NHL goal scorers? Cutter Gauthier, Tommy Wilson. I don't care if he potted it, empty netter. Cash is cash, baby. That's money in my pocket. We went 2 out of 3 with our NHL goal scorers last night, and we were betting plus 190 and plus 250 odds. So it went really well last night. So if we're looking at Connecticut minus 10.5, okay, one other thing, OGs, DGens know this. I would implore you guys to sign up for an account with BetOnline and Bookmaker. Even if, and you don't have to deposit any money. You don't have to place any bets on these books. Just sign up for an account because that's how you're going to be able to look at the liquidity on a BetOnline or a Bookmaker, right? So for those of you that are new, okay, again, if you're looking at these different college spreads and you're saying, okay, Pinnacle's taking 3K, that looks pretty good. Well, understand this. If I come over here to Connecticut and Rice, and we're looking at what? Minus 10.5? Okay. So if I come over here to college football, and this is, and I shouldn't be sharing offshore books anymore because YouTube doesn't like it. So I'm really sticking my neck out on the limb for the new folks in here because this is something I shouldn't be doing because I'll get a slap on the wrist because I should only be talking about the domestic books. If I show Connecticut minus 10.5, look at this. There's this little risk max limit button. Hey, my account is insufficient because guess what? I only have $1,300 in this account. But BetOnline is going to tell you the max wager size. This is why you need to sign up with a bookmaker or sign up with a BetOnline. If I come over here, same thing. If I come over to BetOnline or bookmaker, and I type in Rice and I come over to Connecticut, and it's the same thing. I do this all the time on the stream. Sometimes the search bar works. Sometimes it don't. That's fine. and I come over here to Connecticut and I go, yo, show me minus 10.5 for Connecticut. Bookmaker's taking $5,000, okay? BetOnline's taking $5,500. Guess what? Pinnacle's only taking $3,000. So who's got the bigger balls when it comes to taking money on their point spreads? It ain't Pinnacle. It's BetOnline first, and then it's Bookmaker second. Sign up with these books. Make an account. Look, and then that's where you can search the liquidity, because it's not going to pop up here on the OddsJam tool. But you're going to be able to see then, dude, maybe we should lean on BetOnline right now or Bookmaker as our sharp, because they're taking more money on this play, right? They're taking more than Pinnacle. Stop using Pinnacle for everything, okay? This is where you have to start to evolve as a sports bettor. Knowing these little tips, these little tricks, if you find insight in these streams, please smash the subscribe button. It means more to me than you know. It helps me out so much. These are little things that you can utilize, because different sports, different markets, they're like, if you have kids, they're like your kids. They're all different. It's not just one size fits all with this. You need to know with different sports and different markets, that's how it is. And that's where coaching and working with me one-on-one, like Steven has in the past, you can do this. I offer one-on-one coaching sessions. If you don't want to work with me one-on-one, I offer a group class session starting October 29th at 8 a.m. Eastern. 1 hour call once every 2 weeks for 3 months, 6 calls in total. You can jump in, book a call, and this is where you can ask me questions, and we can kind of work a little bit more one-on-one. So I'll drop some links, guys, if you want to work with me one-on-one, or if you want to just join the group class. This first link will be the group class session. You can take a look. Lily, we're going to be streaming at 6 p.m. Eastern tonight, so 3 p.m. Pacific. If you guys want to book a one-on-one call with me, here it is right here. All right. That's the stream for right now, guys, because I do have a call here with a client here in a second. Got some people that have booked some calls with me, and going to talk through where they're located, their sports books, their risk tolerance, the strategy that they want to utilize, the software that they're using, and how we can kind of help them make money. So if you want that, guys, links are there below. Appreciate you guys showing up. Appreciate the chat. Everything was awesome today. We're back at it later today at 6 p.m. Eastern, betting a lot of player props, and just kind of diving into what's what. So I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. Take care.